Hi there. I'm going to do Ryan Jonestown Massacre because I love her. All the tears that she has cried. Many years after they've dried, 'cause I love you. And he says, oh, girl, you must run for your life, because I'll never take a wife. I live alone with all my strife. I'm unrepented. And I say, I love you. I never know the tears she's cried. Many years after they've dried, I'll still be there by her side, because I love you. And I said, I love you. And I know it can't be wrong. I've waited for so long. I've waited for you. I love you, and I know it can't be wrong. I've waited for so long. You know I've waited for so long. I've waited for you. Yes, I love you.
Aww. So PreSToN, you were like, that was really sweet. So you just have such a history of doing so many different things. Like, this is one of them. You're an author.
Oh, you wrote the book?
Yeah, he wrote a book.
An author and a musician.
You're a musician. You worked at High Times.
I still write for High Times, yeah.
Oh, really?
What do you write for High Times?
I'm an investigative news reporter.
Oh, I love it. How'd you get that job?
I was turning in 4,000-word manuscripts once a week at the High Times office on Park Avenue. And they finally told me if we wanted a 4,000-word manuscript on recertifying Mexico, we'd send somebody to Mexico. And would you like to cover the pod parade this year? Some guy's out of town. And I said, hell yeah, of course I would.
Wow.
That's so funny. Because I wrote for High Times a couple of times.
Oh yeah?
And I'm a journalism school dropout. But the only really major thing I ever did in journalism was I wrote 2 album reviews that were reviewed in High Times in late 70s. One of them in the 5th anniversary issue, which 5 years high, and they had all these different people, the last highs of the last 5 years of 5th anniversary. There were 5 million readers. I don't know how many readers they had now, but back then it was like... And I reviewed Michael Frank's album, Tiger in the Rain. He's a jazz artist. He does kind of very light stuff. And the editor, I had Charlie Frick, who was my editor there at the time. He's like, you gotta have a drug reference in here. So we wrote one in. Michael Frank's music comes on like a cool dose of Valium or something. Maybe.
Yeah, I had a few articles where I had to figure out how to put pot in the article.
So you write about pot stuff like the parade and...
Yeah, I've written a lot of stuff. I've been to Congress a number of times.
The political beat for the legalization.
Yeah. I wrote up Waco. The Waco survivors were suing the government over murdering all the Davidians.
Wow.
Cool.
So what did you learn about that?
The government slaughtered 80-something people in Waco, Texas.
I remember that. That was Koresh, right?
Absolutely. They accused him of being a cult leader, and he was, basically just an offshoot of the Seventh-day Adventist church. And they were Texans, so they had a lot of guns, which was perfectly legal in the state of Texas. Yeah.
So everything the media said was not necessarily true.
Complete bullshit.
Wow. So he wasn't sleeping with 5-year-olds?
No. As a matter of fact, Child Protective Services had done an investigation the year before and decided there was no cause for prosecuting the man. When I was actually living in London when that place burned down, and I remember watching it burn down in my smack dealer's room in the squat where I lived, and thinking, it's about time they got that freak. That was my opinion at the time, because that was what the media had shuffled down our throats.
They did.
And years down the road, I felt like a complete and utter ass.
Wow.
Because I had been totally, government.
Yeah. So PreSToN, do you believe anything the government says?
Very.
Yeah.
Very
Can you say one thing you do believe?
Cigarettes are bad for me.
Okay.
You're kind of like a modern day,
cigarettes now.
you're kind of like a modern day gonzo journalist,
Well,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Continuing that tradition of Hunter S.
I
Thompson.
carried Sharpman around
Yeah.
with me for 3
You're
years.
continuing the tradition of the gonzo
Absolutely.
journalist.
So when
It's
you
awesome. It's awesome, man.
when you say you're a high times, what'd you call yourself?
Investigative journalist.
All right.
Yeah.
So when you investigate, do they give you samples of things to try? And like,
Ooh.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say that.
Only in the office. They did, when I was up in the office back
I've
in
spoken to a lot with a
79.
lot of High Times writers and employees, but I don't know
do you
if I
get to
should
write
say
about
that.
it?
Of course.
So you write. Do you,
I was in New York, but it felt like Hawaii.
if you had a smorgasbord board of like a bud from here, bud from here, bud from here, can you like tell the differences like so accurately?
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes, yes.
But you're having the political
Do you have to like?
more than
Do you have to like?
the
You know how you have to eat the sherbet in between the meals? Like, do you have
To clean my palate?
Yes,
yes.
yes. You have to clean your palate?
Taste of, bourbon.
Oh, that cleans your palate.
I'm not a
Oh
drinker,
my
I'm just
God.
kidding. I don't drink.
Right. That's
really seriously.
You don't need to
I'm
drink. You
having
don't
a
need to
beer
drink.
for like the first time in a couple of weeks.
good because it's
Yes,
like branded
it's
edition.
branded edition.
Yes,
I think
exactly.
I should have it.
Wow, that's funny. So talk about the book. So do
Yeah,
you
let's talk about this
ancient aliens, lost civilizations,
I love this kind of stuff. This is
astonishing
so interesting.
archaeology, and hidden history.
You talk about the pyramids in there and
The
stuff?
pyramids are discussed in there, yes indeed. It's actually the re-release of a book that came out a few years ago, and I had, 12, 13, maybe 14 of the Sci-Fi Channel's Ancient Aliens show, guests in this book 6 years before the Ancient Aliens show even was a gleam in a producer's eye.
Do you think they
And
saw
so
the book?
I've sworn up and down to many people I know that somebody
They had
on
to.
that freaking show has
Yeah.
had this book.
Of
Because
course.
they went through and they picked out
They
everything.
ripped you off,
I
dude.
mean, literally down
They
to
ripped you off.
some really obscure.
So, dude, do you believe that aliens helped build the pyramids or gave the blueprints or whatever to?
Now, personally, no, I don't really believe that.
But I mean, you have to admit that
I
the
like
technology
the
of
idea.
it was radical
I
for
like
the
the
time.
idea. I don't think that it's impossible. And there's not two sides to any story. I'd love to say this. There are at least 50 sides to
I
any
agree.
story. And if a story is well argued and is
Yeah.
well sourced and cited, then I'm perfectly willing to entertain the notion. And I'm
Right.
willing to promote it.
And you have
let
an
other
open
people make their
mind.
minds.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
But there definitely was some kind of revolutionary technology
Oh,
for the
absolutely.
time
No,
to
absolutely.
create the hidden rooms, all the stuff in there. And,
My personal belief
Yeah,
is there's
the
definitely been
Sphinx.
at least one lost civilization we haven't any clue about other than these weird, anomalous, enigmatic finds.
It was an advanced civilization that
Absolutely.
blueprinted that thing
Absolutely.
anyway.
You
right?
think about all the land
Yeah.
that has disappeared underwater since the
Yeah,
last
that's
ice
what I was
age.
thinking.
Like
Hundreds
Atlantis.
and hundreds
Atlantis.
thousands of square miles. Yeah, Atlantis is just one of many.
The more,
Just look at the inundation maps
yeah.
that Glenn Milne has done. I forget what university he's with, but I discussed it in the forward of the book.
This is interesting.
So how long did this book take you to write?
Well, I didn't write it all. I'm the
Okay.
editor. I
Okay.
did the forward, and I did an interview with somebody in the book, and
Okay.
I
So it's
collected
ended
all of the
live. You
contributors
collected
to
a lot
it.
of information.
I had just done a book on drugs, a disinformation guide. It's called Under the Influence, Disinformation Guide to Drugs. And when I was finished, I was sitting in my living room at my
Did you have to
desk.
try all the drugs to write about?
No, I think the the publisher actually wanted a book where everybody gave stories about the drugs they had done, and I gave them a book about how fucked up prohibition is and how it's totally irrational and stupid and evil and wrong, and how it's leading to many more problems than any drug use or abuse ever has.
Yeah.
So I finished
It's
that
like
book.
abortion. It's the
Yes,
same
exact
thing.
same kind of
Same
concept.
thing.
It just needs some more trouble.
Right.
Yeah,
Because you're gonna go
prohibition is
find
wrong.
it.
Prohibition is wrong. The forbidden fruit aspect.
Exactly.
Absolutely, there's that
Right.
as well. So I'm looking around my bookshelf. I'm like, what can I tell my girlfriend I'm working on now? So it looks like I'm actually working. And I have a lot of JFK assassination books, but that's been done to death. And I also have a lot of lost civilizations books. So I'm like, oh, let me pitch this. And the publisher said, if you can get the first guy on your wish list, which was Graham Hancock, to contribute, you can have the contract. And I wrote Graham Hancock on Friday, and when I went back with his email saying, I'm gladly
Good for
participate.
you, Preston.
And then they said, now you got to tell him how much or how little he's going to get paid. And I did, and he still was like, that's perfect, I love it, I'll contribute 2 articles.
Oh,
And he did,
wow.
and he's now a very good friend of mine. I just saw him the other
great.
night, actually, he gave a free presentation here in New York, and I got to write it up for
Good
another
for
publication.
you. Wow. Where did you grow up?
Sarasota, Florida.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going there
Very
next
good.
week.
Sarasota? Now, another obscure small world connection.
Yeah.
Synchronicity.
Yeah.
Constantly.
That's where you. I know Main Street.
Really?
Yeah.
Elm Avenue?
Which one?
Elm Avenue? Like runs up.
Probably.
Yeah, you probably do know.
I'll look for it. Is that where you live?
No. I actually went to church on Elm. They had Boy Scouts, and I'm a Scout.
See, and look what happened.
Yeah.
Then he went to
And
college.
that's also where all
And he cut loose.
prostitutes.
Yeah.
They're trolling.
Sounds like my life. I was a straight kid and went a little while to college.
So you were an Eagle Scout?
I am an Eagle Scout. Once an Eagle Scout, always an Eagle
So
Scout.
if I put you in the middle of a forest
I
somewhere,
could survive, yes. I could find swamp cabbage and dodge skunk ape and find snipe for you.
wow, can you smoke it?
Snipe? Certainly, you can do whatever you want with snipe. It's like a shoreline and left-handed shovels.
So it is National Raisin Bread Day. Do you eat raisin bread?
I don't because
I
I was going to pass on the raisin bread.
I thought
absolutely.
so. What about?
If you're not offended by that, I'm
What do we got about
I am not offended by that.
What's the
I might have
subject?
something else. Will you eat a candy?
Sure, I'll
There
take
you
it.
go. I
Sugar
always
and
said back.
I think it's bad for
Needs the
you.
sugar.
Yeah, exactly.
Not anything.
So, do you have a good skeleton from your closet?
I am.
Oh, this
I
guy's got
know.
skeletons.
You are.
Look at this guy. He's got skeletons.
I'm not sure.
Well, he's careful in what he says. Just
Just
one little
What's some that you
one.
can talk about?
sneaking marijuana into Congress to videotape General Barry McCaffrey's final testimony as our drug czar. And I stood 3 feet from this man with a T-shirt that said "Smoking pot is not a crime," with a bag of pot in my pocket, with the Republican and Democrat. What was it? House.
Dude, that takes some cojones.
Human
Oh my god.
resources and something. I don't even freaking remember.
Human
what-
retards, maybe?
Yeah, human retards.
Yeah, I think
But General McCaffrey spent the entire time testifying, and I was set up in front of his television where he did his now let's show our 3 new anti-drug commercials, and I got to stand up with my green mohawk and black t-shirt and ripped up jeans, and had to pull my camera out of the way, standing room only, in this
Wow.
hearing room in the Raver building in Washington, D.C. And I'm standing with my pro-pot message on my t-shirt next to his 3 new anti-marijuana commercials. And he did not look at me the entire 2 hours that he testified. He did everything he could. The setting up.
I'm not saying that there. That's not
He was
there.
twiddling his thumbs.
It's not there.
Twiddling his thumbs, looking everywhere in the room but at me. And so I could tell he knew I was there.
Yeah, he was just recording.
That was funny.
Yeah, it was good fun.
So
Yeah.
did you write a good article?
I did have a good article, and yes, I wrote that good video too.
And where did that article get published?
In High Times.
Oh, of course.
Yes, as a matter of fact, they didn't want me setting up. The Democrat, and this is another
The
story. I'm a
Democrat was
registered
cool.
Democrat. I voted Democrat in ages, but I'm a registered Democrat. And the Democrat's legal person came up to me and she's like, "Who are you and what are you doing here?" As I said, yeah, how did you get in?
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I'm here from High Times, so I'm here to film your hearing. And she said, well, you have to ask the chairman. And the chairman is Chairman Micah from Florida, so I knew the guy. Not only as the chairman from my home
Did you go to like
state.
high school together?
No, but I had been to a few other hearings previously where I had asked him a few questions after the hearing, so he knew who
So
I
he knew
was.
you were.
Wow.
I'm the only guy that looks like me. This
Just
was
has
for hearings.
This guy's cool.
Yeah. Well, I went up to him and I said, the other side doesn't want me to film his hearing today. And he's like, that's quite all right. Go right ahead, Sarah.
Ah, you had connections.
Good to have
Good for
connections.
you. So how long have you been with High Times?
This is good.
Yeah.
Good. Since 1999.
Wow.
I'm dating myself.
So did you party like it was 1999?
Yes, I
Every
did.
year?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, what did you do? Do you remember?
Well, 1999 was the 25th anniversary of High Times, which was a great freaking party. Let me tell you, Cypress Hill showed up.
Wow.
To that party, and God, I forget what else was there because I was partying so
Yeah.
freaking hard, you know.
Exactly.
I will admit I have short-term memory glitches that last a few years.
Yeah, it's
That's
understandable.
20 years since I worked for them too. That's right now it's the 5th anniversary. Now it's 25 years.
Well, now it's like
No.
25
Yeah.
And
years.
now legalization is coming through all
Do you
over.
think it is going to be legalized soon enough, or?
Freaking hope so, right?
I mean,
Legalized so much so,
Yeah.
But what do you think? what's your in?
I do think that
Like
it's going to be
national,
legalized.
and
I
do you
think
think
it's going to be
with
legalized
it
nationally
being
sooner than later.
legalized, will it be better for society? Like, will they tax it like mother?
Yes, I think they will. And actually, I don't really have anything against taxing it.
Okay.
Somewhat.
Okay.
You know, I just don't think it's. I think it's ridiculous that in Colorado, the state liquor board is the one in charge of setting the tax rate for marijuana, the main competitor of marijuana.
Right.
And it's like 3 or 4 times the rate of taxation for marijuana for this legalized marijuana system they've set up in Colorado than it is for liquor.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got excise tax and sales tax and prohibition tax. I don't know. They're all kinds of taxes, but they've got 3 or 4 different types of taxes they're levying against marijuana.
Have you ever been to one of those stores or bakeries or like those?
Only in Amsterdam. I've never been to one for real.
They
Yeah.
look so good. I mean,
Montclair, New Jersey recently opened last year, I guess it was now.
now, do you need a document to be able to purchase it?
Well, you know, the edibles, all the different healing properties.
Yeah,
the
but
different-
did you
they're
ever?
in the edibles more than in the smoke.
I love edibles. We used to get boxes. This is a high time story. We used to get boxes from the people who would advertise in California when it was just medically. It's still, I guess, only medically in California. But these candy bar manufacturers would send us boxes of candy bars, of Stoner's candy bars instead of Snickers, and Reefer's peanut butter cups. And, I forget what the names of the other ones. Those are my 2 favorites. And
They taste a lot like the original.
Absolutely, they're just like the original, except that, like
There's an extra ingredient.
green instead of brown, but it tasted just like.
And also, you know,
And
it's
you
the
feel like, how
smoking.
long would it kick in?
About an hour.
Takes a
hour and half.
while,
It
yeah.
takes a little longer for pot, edibles, and just about anything, even longer than LSD.
But you know, it's the smoking that's toxic. It's the tar. So I mean, the thing with the vaporizers,
Right.
it's a big thing. I was an article in the
Oh yeah,
Post today
they're
about.
everywhere.
They have these new high-tech ones that
Yeah.
people walk around. They think it's like
Yeah.
some kind of a mobile device.
Yeah, that's what it looks
People
like.
are vaporizing. I know they think these yuppies
There's
are
no
walking
scent.
around with.
There's no odor.
I just
Yeah,
saw
it's
some
crazy.
warning thing recently in
I
the
can
New
never
York
do
paper
them right. They
about
never work.
vaporizers, how the police are all afraid that we're going to e-cigarettes and
They can't
and
tell.
Yeah, well, I've heard that.
all game any day. You know, if I can figure out how to turn this sucker into.
They're like banned electric cigarettes
Yeah.
with Barclays now or something.
Hours.
It doesn't
They're
work
worried
like
about
that.
vaporizing.
Someone else will put pot in it and it'll just
There it
push
is.
my pot and then I have to get it out and put it in my bowl.
There you go. Exactly. Wow. So Preston, like, where do you see yourself? Like, what's your dream, like, to be?
I
Like,
would love to be a best-selling author
okay.
someday.
Cool.
Are you working on is it a novel or?
What are you working on now?
I have like 16 chapters of a novel written that I'm sort of working on casually, and I have an
Is this a
idea.
Gonzo kind of novel, like a Hunter S. Thompson?
No, it's like sci-fi, completely fiction.
Oh, cool.
I have another novel that's mine that I wrote a few years back called Something in the Way, a true life misadventure tale of one drug abuser's life on and off the streets around the
Wait,
world.
a drug
Abuser,
abuser?
the ab is in parentheses because there's very little difference between use and abuse in my mind.
Wait, you really think that?
Well,
What about when somebody
of course,
Yeah.
sorry,
No, I'm
I
just
phrased that
curious.
wrongly. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's okay. That's okay.
Um,
I'm just curious because,
no, obviously there's a difference between
like,
use and
is it
use.
easy to
I don't think that we should ever bring prosecution in, regardless of whether it is use or abuse. And
That's right, that
and
is.
being a user doesn't necessarily make you
You're an abuser. That I agree.
You know, that's
That I
actually what I was
agree.
trying to say.
Okay, well,
I totally
well, I'm
misunderstood.
so glad I questioned it because
That would be wrong.
that makes a lot of sense. Because
Right.
they say moderation is the key in life.
Absolutely,
Period.
absolutely, I agree with
But
that.
like, but do you think everyone is capable of
Yeah, I mean, it
being
is a
moderate?
habit forming.
Of course not.
Why? Is it because of the forbidden fruit, or
I mean,
is
if
it
you
genetic?
do it every day, are you a user or an abuser? Oh.
You know what? It's okay. This guitar is already broken. I won't call him Steve back because he's actually a friend of mine.
So it looks
But
like
he's
it's
a
been through a lot.
and he sold me this guitar, and because I was high, I gave him $50 for it. I said, yes, it's great, $50 for this guitar, I'll take it.
I'll take
And I
it.
got it home, and I'm playing it, and I looked at it, and it's got a huge crack
Oh, man.
all the way down the back.
Now it's got an even
And a ding
bigger crack.
on the back of it. But it still sounds
Well, crack works.
You know,
Crack works.
and I can carry it around on my back.
Let's not talk about crack now. We don't want to talk about crack.
Exactly.
No, leave that out of it.
Yeah.
Just say no. Just say no.
Just say no. Yeah.
So how can people find you?
PreSToN PeeT, Facebook.
Yeah.
You know, you can Google me. There's all kinds of stuff online.
Yeah.
You know?
You're a character.
You're the man.
But you are true to who you are.
Absolutely.
And that is what is the beauty of you, PreSToN PeeT, because it's true though. You are PreSToN PeeT. Like there's only one of you.
Thank you.
It's
That's really
true.
sweet.
It's so true. It's such a pleasure. I mean, I used to see you on the street all the time and just always would say hello to you. And then finally we
It happens to me a lot, actually.
We all met on the street. That's where it all starts.
Say
I met you on the street.
hello.
We started talking on the street.
Is that how I met you?
Well, no, it's not even met, but we got to know each other. We kept running into each other, and we'd like start talking a little bit. And
Yeah.
it all happens on the streets, man.
It does.
Start meeting on the
Especially in New
street.
York City.
In New
Yes.
York City.
You know,
Not
I've run into people I
Sarasota.
knew, like, no, not in Sarasota. I've run into people I knew, like in Paris, when I was 18, 19 years old, but in Paris. Run into them 20 years later, New York, walk by them, you know, see them.
Yeah, it does happen.
I remember babysitting your dog.
Yeah.
What? Hey, I don't remember you at all, but okay, nice to see you.
I know how that
No.
feels.
That's
Exactly.
happened more than once.
Well, it's always a pleasure to see you.
Nice to meet you,
Yeah,
man.
what's your name?
Mike McHugh.
Mike McHugh. Nice to meet you, Mike.
Yeah.
Always a pleasure.
Do you ever think you saw an alien? Do you believe in aliens?
There was only one instance where I think maybe I could have possibly been watching a UFO, but it could have also been a satellite. I did see a rocket get launched recently, a few months back, from outside. I forget what rocket it was. It was, you know, I knew it was a rocket, but if I hadn't known it was a rocket, I would have definitely thought, holy shit, that's a UFO. But I had gone outside intentionally to look for it, because I knew what time the rocket was getting launched, and it was supposed to go up the East Coast, and sure enough, I looked up, and right as the right one, and I stepped out of the apartment, and wow, went right by for like 10 seconds. I've also seen a fireball. I'm really into this whole asteroids hitting the Earth recently.
You about the comet that's coming by the Earth?
There's
You know about the
there's
comet?
supposedly one here in November.
It's
Actually,
coming through
any
the
day
sun,
now, it's supposed to
right now.
It's supposed to
That's
get
going to
really
make
bright,
it close
right?
to the Earth.
Yeah.
Icon.
So
I
what's
think
gonna
happen?
it could
I don't think so.
affect the Earth. I mean, if it gets close enough,
Detritus from it.
if it hits the Earth, we're fucked. But I mean, if it that's it. That'll be it.
And there you go,
There you go.
another Brooklyn
There you
edition
go.
done by a comet. I want to just say I hope everything is okay in Rockland County with that fire that's burning.
Yeah.
There's a brush
I didn't know about
fire.
this.
It's terrible. I hope it's okay because we don't need. Well,
I've totally been
Not
ignoring
even
the news
gonna say
today. I've
that.
been so
yeah, but there's
excited
fun.
about being on the ReWandWho show. For
Yay!
the news, I want to be all musical and artistic today.
Well, you are.
News.
Yeah, well, it's a brush fire. I hope everybody's okay and the fire is out.
Absolutely.
I want to thank Mike McHugh as
Thank you.
the Who for
Fun as
Brooklyn.
always.
The Plastic Pals, Mr. Friendship
Yeah.
Life, thank you so much. These are like my new favorite things.
Yeah, we're
going to
It's
take
really
these
fun.
ones.
Yeah, but you have to smell it. Of course you want a green one.
I'm all in ingredients. It's so purple, right?
Yeah. Who else?
Am I done? My
Yeah,
speech?
but you don't have to be. Alex, Mr. American Idol, The Rebel Factory, Misery Loves Company, Billy Liar, and the adorable PreSToN PeeT, and Caroline, Karen, I know, and the Branded Saloon.
Thank you,
Thank you
Brandon
so
Saloon.
much, and we will
Yeah.
get all this on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Happy trails. Woo!
For me. You pursued me, then abused me, then you threw me away. I will stay strong.